going to give y'all my top 5 heartless gangsters of all time. Now, how did I pick my list? Well, I picked my list based on the actions of these individuals that separates them from others. These guys crossed friends and family. No respect for the living, no morals. They played by their own rules. They lied. They always used someone around them as a scapegoat. No accountability, just point the finger or the gun. Now, I'ma name them from better to worse, and I'll explain. Now, sitting at number 5, we have the real 50 Cent, Calvin Martin. Now, the rapper 50 Cent named himself after the nickname of Calvin Martin. The rapper's first popular song was How to Rob, and he was, talking about robbing everyone in the music industry. Now, the real 50 Cent was robbing everything moving. If you was in the streets getting any type of money, you wasn't safe. Every opportunity he gets, he takes it. He didn't care if you was his favorite rapper. Ask LL Cool J. Ask LL Cool J who he was, as he was called lacking in the fast food restaurant parking lot. Now, he made this list because he would rob his close friends. He would have no picks. He's someone you couldn't trust at all. You couldn't let him know where your stash was. If he found that out, he would clean you out completely. So in order to be his friend, you had to just be as grimy. Not only that, but he would also rob everyday 9-to-5 workers. Now, in order to take from someone you probably have more than, that's working hard for peanuts, says a lot about you. He didn't care at all. The man and woman busting it, working 45 to 60 hours a week wasn't his problem. So that's my pick at number 5, and that's the reason why he's safe at this spot. Now, sitting at spot number 4, sitting at the number 4th spot, we have Alpo Martinez. Now, he started out as a stick-up kid himself, and he would get close to the Dominicans to set them up and rob them. Now, this takes place as he is a teenager. Committing a crime as a kid is easier than committing a crime as an adult due to less responsibilities and having nothing to lose. A child with a gun is more dangerous than an adult with one. He caught his first body during the stick-up, which turned him out completely. Now, this puts him under the real 50 Cent. This puts him at number 4. 50 Cent didn't kill or snitch on his friends. Alpo, he Rich Porter, while Rich was at his lowest, knowing that Rich was the only person in his family that could get the little boy ransom money. The little, we all know the story about the little brother getting kidnapped and all that stuff. Now, Alpo made a sad excuse for Rich, which was a lie, and it didn't make any sense. Alpo shows up to Rich Porter's wake and signs his name. Of course, he gets there before everyone else, and he leaves. So when the family and friends gets there, they all see Alpo's name. And I think that was the main reason he did it. That was around the time Alpo was in D.C. And, he was around those guys. And those D.C. guys made him more grimy than he was. Now, another thing he would do is smash dudes' girlfriends on tape and video. And he would broadcast it in front of everyone. Guys had to take it on the chin. But when dudes were his chick, they would have to. He made an excuse about Dementio, but he really came over a female. If you're going to play the game, you got to take what comes with being in the game. Last but not least, he snitched on his partner, Wayne Perry. I really believe that it wasn't the first time Alpo snitched on anyone, but he snitched on Wayne Perry to save himself. And it's really crazy hearing that a kingpin snitched on his enforcer. One thing about Alpo is, instead of doing his time like a man, if he have a friend or anybody he can give up, he will use it. So we got 50 Cent at 5, we got Alpo at 4. We're covering my top 5 dirtiest gangsters of all time. Now, sitting at number 3, I have Nate Boone Craft. Now, this guy was an enforcer for Maserati Rick, and he was a part of the hit squad called the Best Friends out in Detroit. Well, you can't even say he was a part of anything because he said he goes wherever the money at. So he had no type of loyalty to anyone. It's just a matter of time when he's turning on you because someone else paid him a little bit more than you. Now, his job as an enforcer was to be the security to Maserati Rick. He was supposed to protect him while he was in a hospital, but instead he sets him up to be. Now, we all know you can't trust a person like that. You can't trust a person that can easily be bought, man, female, whoever. Now, Boone tells a story where some hitters was waiting for him to go outside so they can him. Now, he said he was wearing a hat, and that's how they identified him. So he gives the hat to someone in the store or wherever he was at. He gives the hat to someone in the place that he was at. The guy walks out and the hit squad tags the man with bullets. Now, lucky the man survives, but Boom goes to the guy and acts like he didn't know what was going on. He risked an innocent person's life just to save his own. Now, all he had to do was throw the hat in the trash, but no, he almost led an innocent person to their death. Now, you think he even cared one bit? No, that's how grimy he was. He didn't have no respect for the human life. He humans like it was nothing. And to tell you the truth, people like that don't belong on the streets. He belonged in the army somewhere battling in the war zone. Now, I couldn't see how an interviewer could sit in the same room as this man as fast as he'll turn on you. But he's another one that snitched on his own people to get off the hook. Even though he's a dangerous man, he didn't want to serve time. So Boom sits at number 3. Now, sitting at number 2, this man is not considered to be a gangster, but he's a part of the genre, and that's Apple Porter, Johnny Apple Porter. Now, he's the worst kind of human that was ever developed. The gum under the dust has more integrity and is worth more than this man. He was a part of the Preacher crew, as he served as a spy because that's all he can do as a man. He leech off anyone that would let him. He was a junkie to the fullest, a thief. He would bag his nephew, Rich Porter, and all his friends for money. Rich gave him some to sell, but Apple would smoke it. He would steal from his own mother. He preyed on women. He tried to have his way with the daughter of an underling to the Preacher crew named Popcorn. He was going to Apple, but the Preacher crew protected Apple. Apple would look at little girls getting out of school and he would call them little bitches and would brag about having his way with them. Now, Apple would kidnap his own nephew with a member of the Preacher crew and he would demand $500K to release him. They would then lower it to $300K and would cut the little boy's fingers off and would leave it inside a McDonald's bathroom so Rich and his family could see. Now, to cut off your own nephew or any innocent kid off, you have to be sick and mentally off for you to wake up and then even think of kidnapping and a kid, especially your own family at that. Now, while the nephew was missing, he was around the family and he would report back information, of the cops getting involved. So Rich Porter would, and when he realized they wasn't getting a dime, that's when he just little boy. So Apple sits at number 2, and I really wanted him at number 1. But, I will explain the reason why he isn't at number 1 and who's at number 1. Now, with this topic, I can only pick 5, but I'm going to add a little bonus pick. Now, my bonus pick is Michael Jackson from DC, the Trinidad section. Now, this man couldn't be trusted at all. He was a liar, and he would set anyone up without thinking. He was all about the gunplay, too. Now, Alpo saw Michael Jackson had a relationship with Michael Frey, which was an enemy of Alpo. And Frey was a kingpin also, He was in the way of Alpo. Now, to knock off Frey, he had to use someone that could get close to him. He couldn't think of anyone more grimier and more slimy and play both sides other than Michael Jackson. Alpo offered Michael Jackson some money to take out Frey. Now, if you're Michael Jackson, you're thinking about the money that you already owe Frey. So would erase the debt and he could move on with his life. Now, he calls Michael Frey for a meeting and he puts him in the car. Now, he would not only show up to the funeral, but he would go around and tell people that Wayne Perry Frey. Now, that's how grimy Michael Jackson was, so that's a bonus pick for y'all. He really should be swapped out with 50 Cent sitting at number 5, but whatever. Now, sitting at number 1, I picked Ronald Harvey from the Philly Black Mafia. He was nothing to play with. He would shoot it out with the cops and everything. He would walk up and snap your neck like a twig. Now, the reason he's sitting at number 1 is because he did a hit and there was babies in the house. Instead of leaving the babies alone after adults, he demanded the babies to be in the bathtub. 7 deaths, 2 injuries. Now, the woman was forced to watch their babies being. One baby was only 9 days old. That's the only reason I picked John Apple Porter over Ron Harvey. Now, even though Apple Porter wasn't half the man of anyone that made this list. Now, you can share your list on YouTube in the comments where I post the link. I appreciate all the listeners tonight. Y'all take care. Y'all take it easy.